Today, we are visiting familiar trails with a goal of pushing the Forester farther than it ever has gone before. Today, we are reaching the end of Transalta, or at least attempting to. While the Forester has done the first part of this trail time and time again, today we go right past that and go deep into the valley, where the Forester would cross much deeper crossings than it has before and climb up icy embankments. Do we get across this trail off of our list, or is it finally the Forester's limits? Watch and find out. What is up, and welcome back everyone to another episode of Off-Roading the Subaru Forester. You guys probably are pretty familiar with this trailhead. We've been here quite a few times, both in the summer and in the winter. Well, we're back in the winter and we're back on one of the local favorite trails I'm sure most of you guys have known about already, but the Transalta Trail and down through the river. Today we're going to take the Subaru Forester and we're going to try to do all of it and maybe even go past where most people stop at the falls. So what we're going to do, I already got the car aired down, we're going to head down the road, there's a icy hill that might be a little bit of a challenge getting up, but the rest of it's pretty much the road. So we'll hit that road and then get down into the riverbed, and that's where the fun starts. So let's go ahead and hit the trail. And well, there we go. The Forester didn't really have any troubles with that. Last time we were just exploring this trail, we weren't actually doing a full trail run, we were just exploring it. That whole thing was just pure ice. So to be able to just kind of crawl up it like that time was a lot better. I took the left side before because it looked like it was less ruddy, and it was less ruddy, but it was pure ice. So what happened is I actually had to like shimmy over as I was sliding. This time I just took the right side all the way up, and I had traction pretty much the whole way. So it wasn't too difficult. I actually thought we were gonna have some sliding, but I didn't even have to give it any gas and just kind of crawl up it with no problem. So yeah, that was easier than I was expecting. What we'll do now is we'll continue along this trail for a little bit more because, well, we're not down in the creek bed yet, obviously. It's still kind of the road. It's not super interesting. You guys have seen it multiple times in my videos, and I'm sure you've seen it from lots of other people, so I'm not going to cover it too much. But I'll catch up to you once we get to the creek bed and we start getting into the more fun and interesting stuff. After taking on what used to be an icy hill climb, we continued to push forwards on the access road. And what was an extremely rough road in the summer became much smoother as the snow and ice filled in the washboards. Although, in some places, it was still a little slippery, putting the all-wheel drive to good use. As we descended into the valley and into the riverbed, we continued on the all-too-familiar trail towards the first river crossing. Which, having done time and time again, the Forester crossed effortlessly, where, after, we drove deeper into the valley on the well-used trail. And while not having a lot of snow, the riverbed and the trail was quite barren with not much of a center mound, allowing us to keep moving at a good pace. Well, until we started getting into new terrain. Well, here we go. This is the crossing I've never done before, so we're gonna go give it a go. Those pinch welds are not having a nice life. Every time I go over something, it's like tunk. After the crossing, we quickly passed the falls, the common stopping point, and moved deeper into the valley. Here, the valley narrowed and the trail crossed back and forth on the riverbed, moving us between the trees on the banks and the icy river below. And well, it wasn't hard. It was far from the easiest trail we've done. But it was also one of the most rewarding as the mountains rose above us. But that wouldn't last long, as we got to maybe our 7th or 8th crossing. And while these crossings weren't as big, they were deep, reaching up past the skid plates into the exhaust. One place I wouldn't want to stick around too long. And thankfully I didn't. Well, for these 2 crossings, because the next one wasn't so easy. And well, it wasn't the crossing that was the issue. On the next one, it was the bank. Watching Austin struggle up it, I didn't know if the Forester had a chance. But rather than trying the go-around, I thought we might as well give it a try. We crossed the Forester successfully, but getting up the bank was posing to be a challenge. Between the wet boulders in the water and the ice on the embankment, the Forester just wasn't getting past the ledge. Even coming at it at a different angle wasn't making it work, putting the subframe right into the dirt. Well, I guess I needed more of a lift. So after trying it a few more times, I noticed that I was stirring up dirt in the water, and we opted for the winch. Which we hooked up to the nearest tree and pulled myself quickly over the ledge. And after that, it was only a short portion of the trail until we reached the end, where we had a quick bite to eat and enjoyed the surroundings before turning around and heading back. Which, like every other time, felt a lot shorter than the way in. And well, we're back at the normal Transalta Trail. That is before the falls if you're going that way. So we're back in familiar territory and it's a lot nicer, and well, the trail is a lot more used than where we were. Because where we were before, after the falls, it's not as common because most people like to stop at the falls and turn around. But we decided to do the whole trail today, and that's exactly what we did. So we're actually here on our last river crossing of the day, which, I don't know, puts the number at like 25-30. This Forester's done amazing. Everyone that drives past it is completely amazed. But we'll do this last river crossing, and then we essentially have to go across the riverbed, somewhere you guys are very familiar with because we've been down here in the summer, and then the fall, because you can do it up to this river crossing. But what we're gonna do is do this river crossing and then go up the hill, on the road, and then back to the trailhead. So we're getting close, but I hope you guys are enjoying the journey so far, because I am, and I'm sure this Forester is too. And with these river crossings, really, I only have to be careful of a few things. Obviously, rear bumper is a big thing, and then clearance, making sure I don't get hung up on any rocks. Other than that, the Forester does pretty well, as long as I scout my exits and entrances properly. And while talking about the Forester, it is doing incredible, as I've been saying. The clearance is definitely a little bit of an issue with some of these higher mounds in the center of the trail, like right there. but that's something that will be obviously fixed with more of a lift. And we have skid plates, so it kind of just slides along like it should. And well, obviously I have that high clearance front bumper, and I don't have one for the rear, so that rear bumper is getting used on some of the drop downs. But yeah, that rear bumper definitely needs to be clearance at some point. Well, probably is going to be cut and then built like the front bumper so that we have more clearance on some of those drop downs, and maybe a rear spare tire carrier there. But we're going to continue on this trail because it's almost over and we are getting close to the hill climb. So we'll do that hill climb and then get up onto the road and make it back to the trailhead. So see you along. Once we were back on familiar trails, it didn't take long for us to cross the final river crossing and make our way back across the riverbed as the sun set behind the mountains. Then, it was a nice cruise back on the road before dropping back onto the trailhead. And well, there we go. We are back at the trailhead filling up the tires. Turns out my wheels hold a lot of ice, so I had to like get in there with pliers and kind of drain them. But we got them all off, and now we're filling it with, you guys know, the onboard air compressor. Anyways, that's gonna pretty much wrap up today's adventure. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, especially with really seeing how far we could go down that trail with the Forester. Turns out we can go all the way, so that's awesome. But as I said, that's pretty much it. And if you guys are new here, make sure you're following Flat for Off-Road, because these are the things we kind of do with these off-road Subarus. But that is gonna be it for today's episode. So until next adventure, peace out and stay humble.